Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's November 26, 2019. I'm out in the Western Garden Plot. We actually have a nice warm day today. It's up to 50 degrees right now. The bees are out of their hives. I'll do an update on the bees in an upcoming video. Recently, I posted a video from over here in the Western Garden Plot where I had gone ahead and taken some of the elderberries and transplanted those to one of our living fence areas. Real work getting those out, so hopefully the roots aren't as expansive in the next variety I'm going to pick out transplant today. So I'm over here, the Western Garden Plot. So what sort of plants do we have in here? We transferred this from an all annual crops to starting many of our hardwood cuttings. Now over here in these two beds here, we started blueberry plants. These were small cuttings, and possibly some started from seed as well. That hasn't been so great. I'll do an update on that in the springtime. But up against the building, we have some variegated willows. They're white, pink, and red. They've done really well. Pussy willows down at the other end. We've got a couple of rows of elderberry plants. Those are some of the ones I transplanted to the living fence yesterday. I transplanted those. The spacing on those, I did them at 6 foot 6 inches apart from one another, 4 foot from the fence, just in case anybody's interested in that. Today I thought I'd go ahead and get one of the rows next to the elderberries, and they're gooseberries. Well, actually the gooseberries are over here. So I've transplanted some of the black currants. I haven't transplanted the red currants or hosta berries yet, or the grapevines. So today I thought what I'd do is dig up probably about 22 gooseberry plants, put those at 4 foot spacing, and that's one of the hedgerows that's going to go up next to the shallots and the garlic, which are the permanent raised beds. I posted a video recently. I'll put that in the upper right hand corner. Gosh, the sun's out. It's so nice to see the sun. And so today what I'm going to do is dig up some of the gooseberries. Hopefully the roots aren't as expansive as those darn elderberry plants. Man, those things really took off. And get those put into one of the hedgerow compost systems that I've gotten started up there. So let's see how this works out. Okay, I was able to get the gooseberries planted. What I used was a small stick that was 4 feet long, so I put the gooseberries 4 foot on center in the compost, even though I don't have wood chips up against the side of it yet. I may not have them until next spring. The one concern when I do a system like this, when there isn't wood chips up against that compost and the root structure is above ground level, even though it's buried in the compost that's mounded up there, with the winds coming out of the west and the super cold temperatures, that whole area could freeze completely solid. Gooseberries and the ribes tend to do okay when that happens, but many plants don't do very well. Once the root structure completely freezes, the cell walls break down, and if there's enough starches in there, they tend not to completely disintegrate. So we'll see if these end up taken out. I still have quite a few more gooseberries still in the western garden plot. I went ahead and pruned them back pretty heavily, making sure that I cut back to a bud that was facing in the direction that I wanted it to go to. Tried to cut back a lot of the older wood that was there. There were a few limbs that had laid down and had serpentine or mounded, started throwing down roots, so those ones I cut off. I'll stick those over near the living wall near pond 5. And I'm pretty happy with that. I did grab some of the calendula flowers. I didn't separate all the seeds. Thea did separate some seeds and had them in a bowl. I went ahead and planted, stuck some of those seeds just below the soil surface, in between about the midpoint between each one of these gooseberries. These weren't dried out methodically, but these seeds tend to do pretty well, even when they do self-seeding outside and all. I went ahead and took the rest of them and put them in between all of the walnut trees that I had transplanted a few weeks ago, and I put black currants next to them and the Jerusalem artichokes or sunchokes as well. And so I took some more of those seeds and just sprinkled them on the surface. I should put some soil over in that area as well, but I don't know that the calendula seeds will do very well if they'll germinate being too deep below the surface of the soil. They're ones that like to be right near the surface of the soil for them to germinate in the springtime. So I think that's about it for today's video. I'm real happy with the root structure on the gooseberries. They weren't massive like the elderberry plants were, but they were really pretty decent shape for the most part. So I think they have a good chance of surviving as long as the bitter cold winds don't freeze that into a block of ice. So if you thought this video was of value, please give us a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I really enjoy the interaction. What we're trying to do is build hedgerows here and increase the number of beneficial insects, bring in more animals as well. This is what I'm going to call a simple perennial hedgerow, and the real big hedgerow will be going over here. Hopefully this spring or summer, I'll get to build this out as I get more soil and building materials. So thanks so much for watching, folks, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.